Look, it worked both times. It has not glitched out on me in like days. And the people that don't watch the thing have no idea what I'm talking about, but days. And now, just like earlier on the racing show, I'm joined by Walter. And my whole take on this whole entire thing, that we're going to start out, obviously it's the big ticket item. You've been paying, I don't know where the hell you're getting your news from, but I'm just getting blown up left, right, and indifferently from you. But guess what? Anyone that says they're surprised, and anyone that thought that this guy was going to start World War 93, hopefully is now realizing that this guy, that'd be Joe Biden, would, like he got us in this whole entire boat, and no one should be surprised. And they keep saying that they're surprised, but Putin said his whole entire goal when he got in was to get all of the old Soviet territories back. Like he said,
I believe that was July 12th of last year.
And like forever, he said he wanted it back. And
he great feelings Putin has towards
and President
he
Xi
thought the USSR should have never fell. Let's just put it that way.
And then President Xi, we all know his face. It's funny looking, but that guy's face there. I put it for a second before commies come after me. But like he'd been saying, we all knew what he wanted to do with Taiwan too. And yet everyone's saying they're surprised, and we didn't see it coming. But anyone that has a history book or ears, like, saw this completely coming.
Well, I think the man you had on that screen a moment ago, Mr. JB, he definitely got some ultimatums to make, because I feel like we're at a situation where one wrong move and we're going to have 4 enemies at once that we don't want anything to do with at once.
And that guy right there, Vladimir Putin, what he really doesn't care.
No.
Like, and scary part, because I heard this from Crystal's brother, who's got a girl over in the Ukraine on the eastern side of the country, said, well, most people here want to be part of Russia again. Like, and now there they are going, what? Now our buildings are rattling. Why? Because they're going to blow you. What? You have to be dumb to actually want to be part of the old. What? Do you remember how it was in the old Soviet bloc? What? Everything sucked. Everything was falling apart. Funny you brought that up.
Last night, there was an India student who's in Ukraine right now, still at this moment as we speak. She said that she has not left her quarters where she's at. She couldn't give her location for her own safety, which I completely understood. Because for Putin to say he's going to denazify Ukraine when the leadership is Jewish, that tells you where his true intentions are.
I just love the word Russian only. I just love the word denazification, when like you're denazing things while you're doing blitzkrieg and running through the place. Like denazification. I didn't even know that was a real word. What are you doing? We're denazification. Excuse me? That sounds like you're nazificationing.
My biggest fear of that whole scenario is that they've halted it right now, the Nord Stream 2, but the conversations from 2018 and 2019 with NATO and Trump kind of make me fearful for the fact that they're still reluctant about taking them out of the SWIFT system. Germany doesn't want that to happen. I'm sorry. I don't have anything against Germans. They got some damn good cars. But
good sausages, good beer.
That too. But with that being said, their government is on a whole nother level of things that are no different. I missed part of that sentence. Russia, their government is on the path of everything that Hitler did. They're getting ready to do it. So with that being said, he's going on the same path as Hitler. Germany's not wanting to back off these Nord Streams things willingly. And now everybody's wanting them to back and pull Russia out of SWIFT. And you see Germany backing off, kind of going, I don't like that. Well, today you're speaking German. You want to speak Russian next month? Because that's what's in your future if we don't do something.
It's kind of like when Hitler ran through and took over everything.
That's my point. Like
until he quit it.
You think Germany, of all people, would understand what's happening in Ukraine?
No, I mean, you gotta think, like, you can't even mention Hitler in Germany. anymore, so they don't even really fully. The generations that fully grasp what's going on right now are sadly long gone. That lived
Well, the ones in
through all of it.
Ukraine are fully grasped from
Yeah,
the last 30 years.
like apparently,
Well,
like she
honestly,
said, there's a lot.
since 19, it was on the news this morning when they were talking about Reagan.
But it's only been 30, 40 years.
I think it was, I want to say it was his sanctions he put in. It took 3 years before that crushed the Soviet Union. So yeah, 88 is when he got out. He did all that at the end of 87, going into 88 throughout what was left of his term that year. 91 is when it fell. So it took 3 years for his sanctions, which I'm not to be rude to anybody who thinks differently than us, but way worse than what Joe Biden's ever thought about doing so far.
Hey, don't forget, he gave his beautiful speech, and they admitted, well, we didn't think sanctions were going to deter him at all. Like, but you were on TV saying that this was going to be his deterrence, which we all said you're not going to turn from doing anything with sanctions. Well, we're going to keep him from getting this stuff. What he will invade, but he's just going to, he'll get his hands on the stuff. And he's working with China.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this whole Ukraine thing after the Afghanistan situation.
Don't worry, we'll get to that.
And then Saturday, make sure I speak right. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday. They had the meeting over there for the Security Council, and that's when Kamala Harris said our sanctions will stop this, among deterrents.
Well, he's still going.
It stopped.
Didn't stop. So, I mean, and then literally 2 days later, we didn't expect it to stop him. What?
You have all these political analysts and political advisors and security advisors from Europe, and a couple that's dealt with stuff from India and the Middle East, and they're all saying the same thing: pull them from the SWIFT system or watch them win. That's it. That's what you got left. That's shy of sending our people.
Which 82nd's already in Poland, and they're moving up Muse by several weeks to get people on the boats and get them over there.
Well, they still haven't shipped any Marines yet. What's going on with that? That makes you think they know what's coming in the next 8 to 10 months. They know what we'll be dealing with at the end of this year.
And you didn't.
They're not sending the Marines in yet.
You didn't even mean to do it, but that was the segue to the next thing was the whole time. Yeah, Trump was going to start whatever. They all said he was going to start World War III and all hell was going to break loose. And we were getting peace. Everyone, there was the first time we weren't dragged into a new conflict in 40, 50, 60 years. First time, and
that's the first presidency term since Reagan that the Soviet hasn't done anything.
We warned them. Then when they were all running, we warned all of them, and they all told us we are crazy, racist, conspiracy theorists. Turn off Fox News. You don't know what you're talking about. And what do we say? Russia's going to make his moves if Biden gets in. China's going to go on Taiwan if he gets in. What happens if China, if this is just red herrings, they go after Japan, then we really, they could do all, North Korea can go after the South. Why? Because everyone saw and it lead, China's doing training exercises with Canadians, which really isn't good that they're up there in Canada doing that. With all the land they've bought here in the States, they can do whatever the hell they want. And the only reason, as we're talking about leadership, the only reason any of this is happening is because of how, the elections have consequences. But what happened in Afghanistan?
If they really wanted to help themselves project strength right now, this is my personal beliefs, what I think, what I know, this is how I see it. If they were to audit right now in our country, just audit every homeowner, anyone that is Chinese related that owns a piece of property that is physically not occupying that property at that moment, without talking to them and investigating it, you immediately need to put into action that if you do not own and live here in that house or that property, whether it be a house or a townhome, however it is, you own that household and you don't live there, you should not own it. And especially if it's from China. That would halt a huge degree of what could happen in the future.
Yeah. And I mean, literally, I hope also that somehow people actually wake up and listen to the words and then see the actions. because we literally did warn them for forever, but people were just so beat down on Orange Man bad. Everyone that supports him bad. They're the end of our democracy, even though they're killing our democracy left, right, and differently. Like I can't get on e-benefits without consenting to them to be able to search this device right here or my computer whenever the hell they want to, if I get on there on it. Like we warn them for like learn from this finally. Like don't just take us as crazy people. Don't take us as conspiracy theories. But like everything that we said was going to happen, whether it was Russia, Afghanistan, China, the border, opiate deaths hitting six figures for the first time ever, inflation, gas prices, like everything we said was going to happen happened. So do us all a favor. And every single hearing, no matter what politicians say, they are all on the Congress and Senate's website. Everything they do, every hearing, every thing that any government agency ever does, like they are all there. Every bill they pass is right there. Actually go on there and read the thing. Don't read the talking points you get from your idiots on the media. Go on there and actually read it and educate yourself, because we knew what this was going to happen. Because for the love of God, look at Russia and Crimea when Joe was vice president. I mean, he was going all over doing whatever he wanted. Like North Korea was flying, planes and shooting missiles and all kinds of stuff all the time that they weren't supposed. And we were giving money to North Koreans and the Iranians for them to not make nukes or anything, and they still kept doing everything. Like this is what they do. They have big words and they don't actually ever do anything.
I'm glad you brought that up. So the whole Iranian thing with nukes and nuclear energy and the ability to do the whole
and literally
all that.
Our own people, like when we left Afghanistan, said ISIS will have the capabilities to attack us on the homeland within 6 months, and then literally they did it again with the Iran thing. Well, it doesn't matter, but they will be. They'll have the capabilities within 6 months to make nuclear weapons. Like, and we're just caving into them and saying, "Cool, well, here you go." Why? Because they're not going to stop, especially the people in the Middle East, which are also involved in all of this stuff. Because China, Russia, Iran, like all those people are all working together.
North Korea.
And it is really bad things, and they're all putting out their death to America, death to Israel. Like you're going to give the people that want to kill us and the whole entire like Jewish people nuclear capabilities when they're 10 feet away from them. Like we all said that was going to happen. Like this is all
in regards to the Iran having nukes thing. I love America. I get it. I love it. But I'm 100% behind. Well, I got my American flag in the greenhouse and I got my Marine Corps flag in the greenhouse. Yep, just like that. How do I want to say that? So I think, backing up to it, hold on. Side note, if Trump would have been reelected, our treaty between us and Ukraine would be way more bolden that we signed in 1994 and 91 and two. There's two of them total, I'm pretty sure of it. But the main one, irrelevant to what we're talking about right now, that whole situation, it would have been bolstered tremendously last year had Trump been reelected. I almost gut feeling would say that, because something that Ronald Reagan did that Trump does is peace through strength. Yeah. And if Joe Biden screws up with Iran, gives them the ability, like he's going to, and even though he's not going to give them say, yeah, you can build nukes to bomb somebody, they do what I got a feeling they're going to do. It will be.
They do what they've always done. They're going to do whatever the hell they want. And we're going to be paying for it.
The moment that's signed, though, I assure you within 72 hours, Israel, with no push from anyone, will eliminate.
Yeah, Israel's going to go, look what they did to Palestine.
Like, Israel's already over.
Okay, watch this. I mean, they were on Twitter roasting the Palestine. Well, apparently our intel is better than yours. Like, hey, what? Leave this building. What? We're going to blow it up. Then we're like, oh, look. Oh. Well, so everyone started scattering, and well, they blew up the building anyway. Like, well, but that was the best thing. Like, our intelligence says this, and then they blew up the building. And then they were on Twitter. Apparently, our intelligence was better than yours. Like, they don't care anymore.
Of Iran and nukes. I don't know if I told you this, you're going to laugh at me and make fun of me, but I read this book. Yeah. This book right here. It's called World Tensions, Conflict, and Accommodation. This book was written in 1972.
It's a hell of a book to read.
It was written post World War II for the simple fact of these particular gentlemen that got together and gave the information for this book said what will happen in this conflict. One, if you believe in aliens or you don't, every ancient astronaut theorist like that,
Ancient aliens.
they believe wholeheartedly the only reason why we continuously are increasing on phenomenons that we see is because of nukes. Aliens, per se, whatever you want to call them, they don't want us having nukes. Well, I'm telling you right now, I have my own personal feelings towards aliens. If they're real, they're on the something right there. Secondly, there's a gentleman in this book that talks about nukes and world powers who are in decline having nuclear warfare. Back then, they wanted the whole world to denuclearize. There's a lot of countries that fell into that, including Ukraine, but they didn't do it across the board for the whole world. Well, in this book, they talk about how if you did just what they've done as a whole, those in decline that still have their nuclear capabilities are going to ruin the world, and they'll start World War III. They said the next conflict that involved a nuclear power on each side would be the end. That would be World War III, and it would be the end of a normalized civilization. Because America will win in a nuclear war, but will lose. Now, this is based off of 1972 consensus figures, but back then they said they would have lost at minimum 3.5 million people in a nuclear war with just one nuclear power. So that brings me to the other part of why I brought that book up. If we go to war with one of those four that are left that I'm truly concerned about, all four of them are going to come together. Do we have every single nation outside of them unified enough to fight all four of them? Absolutely not. The only the only entity involved that could really change the things is if tensions where they're at right now between Iran in the world, Russia in the world, and then China in the world, if it gets much dumber, I have a feeling Israel's going to say, US, we love your people. Sorry, government, but we're not going to listen to you no more. We're going to do what we need to do to save the world population. Because that's what they want to do. They know that there's more Christian believing people in the world than there is any other thing. And what do most of those countries want? No Christian believing people. They believe all of them four countries believe Judeo-Christianity of any form does not have a place in this world.
Which is why people like Obama, when he was removing God from schools and everything, Joe Biden was the first president in history to have the national prayer, and he didn't he didn't mention God in the whole thing. Like Mr. Super, I'm Catholic as hell, paying for abortions around the world with your taxpayer dollars, and removing God from everything.
The whole thing with Joe Biden, though, is
this guy right here.
Next February will be good. Next February will be a whole new world, I think.
Oh yeah, like they're screwed. That like you could tell they know they're screwed because they're trying to run through everything as fast as humanly possible. So once they saw Virginia, the guy in New Jersey that spent like $12 and outdid their like top Democrat in the whole state, like what they know what Virginia, they lost all of Virginia, like first time statewide election in decades that a Republican.
People need to get more involved. People need to be more involved and more educated.
Don't worry, we're getting to that. Don't worry, I wrote that down as a talking point because it really does. But before we get there, there really only is like, there's the two big ones that involve like all of this. The first one comes from that guy that was just on the screen. I'm tired of staring at his face, even though it's behind me and you can barely make it out on the screen. I know he's looking at me. When he gave his speech, when they first started everything, I think it was last week, when he said that Americans were going to have to be prepared to pay the price of everything with everything, for gas and everything else getting worse because of what's happening over there. Like, we shouldn't, like, because you're incompetent, you got us into this. No one wanted to listen to us, but we have to pay for your god awful, like even worse than Obama. I never thought I'd say that. Political game with the whole entire like world, like your whole strategy sucks. And no, I'm sorry, we were producing more oil barrels a day with no problem, more than we're buying from Russia and Saudi Arabia and Iran, like all these biggest state sponsors of terror on the planet. we're giving them like, and we were producing more on our own cleaner. We weren't giving money to them, which is now helping them fund all
It's
the bad
funny you
things
bring
that
that up.
they're doing. And we had enough that we were selling barrels off. We had so much. And our
So
pipeline was bad, even though all of his own environmental people said that pipeline is the cleanest way to do it. And we're having people that produce the stuff way dirtier than we ever could, producing more, which killed, but we got rid of our pipeline and all that to save the world. But we're having people that are actually polluting the hell out of the world. We're letting them produce more and burn the world to the ground,
well,
which is why the
then,
whole, what's that, where are they, progressive mind? I really don't understand how hard what we produce it cleaner. We were making more. They produce it dirty as hell and do all kinds of things to kill Americans and all kinds of people. So technically we were saving the planet and now we're killing it more, but people are so dumb and don't actually think, like, I don't know. They don't listen to the words. They just, yeah. Oh, and like,
well, there's
I'll
5
get it.
socialist communists that are involved with our government that have to go bye-bye. Now, I'm not going to say they're Soviet style communists because they're not, but
Bernie
they
is.
are socialist communists. And
Bernie
Bernie
is.
is not the one I'm referring to.
Well, I know, but Bernie.
There's 4 women, and then there's 1 guy.
Okay, so we're talking Rashida, Ilhan, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because if we call her AOC, what, that's apparently racist and sexist, and like, then don't have it as don't have it as your Twitter handle. Then, you know, Ayanna Pressley. There's another one. There's
So the squad, those 4.
Yeah, there's the 4 women.
And then I'll let you guess the
Figured
guy. He's actually been on TV in the last 40 hours.
I haven't seen the TV in the last.
John Kerry.
Oh, well, he doesn't even count.
He believes in his heart that Putin should be man enough to put down his arms and quit this for the sake of climate change. He is so out of touch with reality that his communist ass needs to go join it.
Hey, he's the guy that when he went to the, you know, the big climate, you know, summit that they all had, and flew in, like, him and his like 3 people in his private jet, which emitted more stuff than a commercial jet, just for how many why? Because people like me need, well, we can't travel that way. Like, yeah, you can, and you would kill the planet
It's
so
funny.
much less with their like 73 car convoy they had going to it, burning like you guys are the most ass backwards people on the face of God's green earth, and people are still like thinking that they're the Messiah.
That's no different than that last meeting in person over there that Biden and Putin had.
Oh, what, when Biden was
8 vehicles.
Yeah.
To having that convoy just to bring what? Second thing, you said that statement, which literally brought me to the next statement I was going to make. I was going to say that John Kerry flies around, does all this stuff. Oh, climate change. I want to see you hop on a normal commercial flight, even in first class. Hop on that, get a first class seat, and watch you sit next to a businessman who's had to work his ass off to get there, or a blue collar worker that hates riding with idiots that sits up there and tell them about climate change.
You know what's really, really scary about that? That literally, actually, like, by the way, people, we didn't talk, well, we just knew what we were talking about. Like, but we're like literally segueing, and this is the same thing I'm going to tell. Like, I text a certain individual yesterday. Hey, I know the talking is going to go off the rails, so I'm at least trying to, you know, I know how we talk about this stuff. But to certain someone, but like, hey, look, gas is up another 20 cents overnight. I hope you're doing okay, guys. What? I don't have to worry. It doesn't affect me. I can afford as much gas as I need. And you know what? Here comes this very beautiful statement for me. Everyone, sit down, relax. This is a conversation with Ski. If you are one of those people that says that it doesn't affect you, so why care? I'm just going to tell you, please, you could unsubscribe. If you're even listening, you could delete, but pretend you don't know me. Because where I was financially before this jagaloon got into office, and we had all like inflation at 40-year highs, gas price over $100 a barrel. Again, we went up 70 cents in the last 3 damn weeks.
It didn't make you hate your living situation.
Guess what? When that guy was involved, I had $300+ after bills and that, yeah, to spend, for gas to go play, like, and like food and all that. And right now, even with our yearly VA raise, I'm literally maybe breaking like 100 to spend for the whole entire. Like, I didn't even have half of that to spend the entire month because everything is so much higher. If you say it doesn't affect you, it affects people, your friends, your loved ones, and all those people that you said he was going to help in the lower to middle class that are absolutely getting buried right now. And it was, guess what? I'll take someone else writing a mean tweet for the guy because he had a Twitter guy. It wasn't even him doing it because he actually, I don't know, had more important things to do with his life, like 73 meetings, 116 televised interviews a day. Like, he didn't stop.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna be one of those people, like, you're uneducated, ignorant, worthless, like, political view that you got because none of them paid attention to politics until Trump got involved. Now watch the mainstream media, and all you people that told me I was crazy and all that, I am now physically screwed because of it. That guy's tighter because of it. Hannah and her people are screwed because of it. My family's screwed because of it. Your families are probably screwed because of it. And guess what? Every single goddamn thing we said was going to happen has happened exponentially. Even worse, we thought it would take him more than 6 months to screw everything up. He screwed it up in 10 minutes. Like, literally in 1 week, like, literally day before inauguration day, sliced buffalo chicken deli meat, $2 something a pound, literally went the day after inauguration, and it cost me $5 for the same amount of pre-sliced deli meat. I'm pretty sure the price of buffalo chicken breast did not double literally the day he got in office.
I'll tell you what, right now, for all those people who think like that and think we're crazy, I'll give you a couple examples.
You're affecting everybody, you ignorant piles of piss.
Have I sent you from the local grocery stores up here saying, welcome to Venezuela 2.0? How many? Too many. Too many. One's too many, let alone the amount I've
everywhere. Everywhere.
And then I want anyone that thinks like that to come tell people right now in Michigan that it won't affect us here. And then I want you to come back again when this idiot person in charge and that stupid squad shuts down Line 5 in Michigan, because then people think California fuel's expensive. They shut down Line 5 from Canada. All of our shit has to come in on train.
Which means
it will cost us so much money to fuel the amount of energy used in this country or in this state.
And just to let everyone know, you shut that down because they've been talking about it, and they have to transport it by rail and truck and all. You're blowing through so many like astronomical emissions that you wouldn't have to because the pipeline doesn't have any. And Michigan, you're actually killing the planet more by thinking that you guys are some kind of messiah and savior for the planet. So please use your brain. It takes about 3 seconds to go, well, they shut down that, they have to do it by that, which means you're actually killing the environment 1,000 times more than by us just having pipelines and drilling our own oil.
Well, my thing is without having oil and natural gas come from Canada on top of what we can drill for natural gas here in Michigan, if we didn't have that, dude, we couldn't afford to live in this state. Michigan is a state that is barely hanging on after the auto industry was killed from NAFTA. The only industry that's left in this state that keeps our state afloat is the cannabis industry. I know that sounds pathetic, but it's true.
I was getting ready to say something when you said the natural grass industry. It's like, yeah, Michigan's got that natural grass thing like down pat.
But my thing is we don't have in this state the amount of space required to supply solar energy in our state. We are one of the bigger states for wind energy. Now there's the downfall to that. Nothing's recyclable as far as I can take this material from that blade when it's no longer in service, take it back to the manufacturer. They can recycle it and either reuse it in that way or use it in a different form for some other part.
It's just like graveyards, just like lithium batteries for cars. Like they can't do anything with it, so they just sit in giant fields.
Exactly. And then you take that concept, you add that together, and it's like we produced a lot of dead windmill blades. And when this all first started, that first batch that was done in Maine and Michigan. And guess where they're suffering now when it comes to getting rid of the old ones? Maine and Michigan. There's fields where they just stack them Lincoln log style, and they're just in piles and piles, and they're hundreds of acres like that throughout Michigan and Maine. Not to mention other states that are now collecting them via train. I mean, it's ridiculous. There is a guy, I will give him credit. I think he was, like it was either from Nevada, Washington, or Oregon, one of those three states. Him and a company came together and started building spec houses for homeless people at a windmill place. And then it's kind of spewed into other things over there. And they do other things, but I'm pretty sure it was a homeless community they were building them on. My whole point is, even if it wasn't, if I misspoke on that, there's an option. How many of those a year are we now because they're at the end of their lifetime expectancy because it's 20 some years later? How many of those are we going to start accumulating? Take them, refabricate them, put the rings on them, bolt them down. You can build homes on them. You can build structures. They're 93 foot long. 93 foot long. You can cut those into 5 sections, have extra left over, and still make homes on them.
Yep.
I mean,
and again, it's the same people that are saying all this stuff like the Drews of the world. And
all them
really
idiots out there in California,
yeah,
spending money helping do drug addictions out there. Why don't you, instead of spending the money on that bull crap and paying $500,000, $600,000, and $700,000 for apartment complexes, buying these housing, buying at normal housing rates, not anything reduced, for homeless people? Millions. I think, I could be wrong, but I think even if I understood the interview with the police chief and the assistant DA last week from LA, they both said that, I'm pretty sure they both said they were spending over $1 billion in LA because of the homeless problem. I'm like,
billion with a B.
I'm like, wait a minute, take that money, take stuff that we can't use in a recyclable form, make it recyclable, build these homes, build some communities for these people in the desert somewhere. Don't put them right in housing in the same exact environment in the area that they're doing the drugs in. You want to build, you want to help them? You truly want to help them? Take that, we'll say it's $1 billion, just $1 billion even. We'll take that $1 billion, you can go out, you can build a neighborhood of tiny homes, put all these homeless people out there, and still have way more than enough money to build the absolute best rehab facility in the world and fix them. Don't put them right back in the same place and not fix them.
I had my theory on that before we move on was take the money, hell, even take the old dilapidated buildings that are just sitting there, buy them, refresh them. You could put all the rehab stuff they'll ever need, the therapy, like they'll have all the help they need. They'll have an apartment to live in. And you could also put like a restaurant or something in there to put them back to work so they can start functioning again, and it'll pay for itself. And we won't just be funding money to, help them
if you want to keep
do their drugs safer.
I'm sure there's empty
in
buildings,
LA,
like legit office towers that are empty in LA because everything is leaving California.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that. Even that, actually, that's a better concept because then there's less entry points and they can't get in and out as easy. That's actually a better idea.
Yeah, but really, I mean, to close it out on that, like, it's really sad because it's like the people that I talk to that are on that side of it. Like, what I remember when you were homeless and your parents threw you out, it wasn't my problem that you were homeless. It didn't affect me, but I thought about something besides myself. So I got you a place, and a roof over your head. And now you're telling me too bad, so sad, doesn't affect me. I don't care. It's all the narcissistic, scummy, just dumpster fires of people that are on that side of everything that don't have a lick of common sense or a brain in between their ears.
Well, here's my thing.
Anything.
In this country, we have to literally worry about going out of our homes in a lot of cities anymore, especially in states like mine, where I would never on my life let my kids walk out of this house or do something without me because I can't trust it outside. I can this, I can firsthand experience in this city in the last 2 years tell you it's not. I was telling people, look, years ago, Steve, when we were still on active duty, I was telling people then that Jackson's a shithole worse than Detroit. Was I not?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody said, oh, you're crazy. Nothing's worse than Detroit. Oh, you're crazy. A lot of people said that to me. I've heard it for years. Well, now I can guarantee you per capita numbers have proven it. Outside of like Flint, and then there's another little city outside of Grand Rapids. Jackson's the worst city in the state. I mean, per capita numbers.
Yeah. And really, this gets back to what I said we'd get to later. If we can fix it, then we can fix the whole Russia thing, the Saudi thing, the Iran thing, and being dependent on them. We can fix the China thing. We can
Before it comes to a point where you just have
we
to let
can
Israel do what they want.
we can fix like all of it. And that's just if people educate themselves. People like don't just go and tell us, "Well, you voted for him, so you're a crazy racist conspiracy theorist." Like, no, actually educate yourselves, and let's not put a guy in office that literally just stares blankly at you and laughs when they're like, "Why aren't you putting sanctions in right now? Why are you waiting until Tuesday morning?" And he's just
Well,
and he just
Tuesday,
smiles and he just holds his little thing and smiles and laughs because like, it literally makes no sense. And all these people are still saying he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, even though we've had like 97 different problems in the first like 10 minutes he was president.
I'm not going to try to say the guy's name from Ukraine because I will butcher it. But there was a
Zelensky.
gentleman that's the
Oh.
Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was here Tuesday, did an interview with Brett Barrett.
Good old Brett.
In that interview, he told Brett, we're not asking anyone in the world to come to our country and fight a war. We're only asking for two things. One, every country in this world outside of Russia condemn the hell out of what they're doing. Two, our other request is so that all the free nations of the world, we don't want you to come fight. All we want is artillery backup. Keep us armed and supplied. We will do all the fighting ourselves. They literally are going to fight for themselves. They don't want somebody to come fight for them, which for me,
it's astronomical.
It's like
unfathomable.
How many defense industry people and politicians last August just wanted us to go in there and start another war?
That's all they want.
All I asked for was them to go get our fucking people and the people who helped us. Sorry about my language. And the people who helped us.
I was right there. We just left them all behind. People like it. They did
now
it
we
so
just did
poorly.
The same thing in Ukraine. And there's another guy. He's from here. His first name is Bryce. I can't remember his last name. Project Dynamo. Look it up. ProjectDynamo.org. He's in Ukraine. You can also donate there if you want to help people. But you can also go to that website, and this gentleman is there now getting Americans out. And he says, there's no way I leave here until all my sources say U.S. personnel and our allies are out.
Which means he's never getting out of there. Yeah, but
someone he's already, he said on the first day and the night before, they did get well over 400 people out. And I'm sure it's probably risen.
Yeah, so we left like.
No, I'm not going to say that whole 400 was all Americans, but there might have been some others too.
Yeah, but we left thousands, whether it was U.S. citizens, interpreters, whether it was just American citizens and allies alike. We left thousands of people behind, which is why the number like astronomically just keeps. Whenever they do bring it up, we have this many left. It's like, oh, that's even bigger than like you told us last time. Like you guys did this piss poorly. And that's why all of this
is happening. So far, Russia, though, is letting us leave.
Well,
the Russian forces they've encountered so far is minus like asking them for their paperwork. They haven't really harassed them. Speaking of this morning of all, because you brought up Afghanistan just a minute ago, out of all people in the world, this morning, roughly, I think it was 10 a.m. Ukraine time. The Taliban said, this needs to be de-escalated. Russia, we're calling upon you to de-escalate this in a more peaceful manner. What? First things first, Joe Biden, the Taliban just made you look like garbage.
Doesn't take much.
Twice. Secondly, on that note, the Taliban saying that is a smack to the face of anyone who's ever fought in any war to deal with it, to include the Russians.
Yeah.
Because if you remember correctly, in the 80s, they didn't do so well.
They got hey, they tried. We did heavily help them.
But you know who's kept that in mind?
Soviet Union problem.
You know who's kept that in mind? Ukraine. They know. Why do you think they legalized Molotov cocktails? Why do you think they're giving their citizens? Kill them. Don't matter how you do it, just kill them. And those guys from Snake Island, those 13 guys, I wish I could have met them before they died.
And I just had a beautiful pop-up from an email, apparently. As Ukrainians are fearing for their lives, and we all are, Joy Behar is scared that her Italian vacation could be ruined. Thank you, View, for giving us.
The biggest thing she needs to worry about is her ego making her fucking trip face first on the ground. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, like that just popped up there. But yeah, that was convenient timing. But yeah, like they've been. I mean, I give the Ukrainians credit because I mean they said, "Let us fight." Well, we're gonna fight.
And then they made it very clear. They got
don't do to us. Don't do to us what you did to Afghanistan. Don't do to us what you did to Afghanistan. Where you just high and dry left Bagram in the middle of the night and didn't tell anybody. Right. So they had no backup, and that's why the Taliban just barreled through everything.
I don't know. It sounds like India ain't gonna leave them hanging.
As they shouldn't.
From what I've read and seen so far, I don't think India's gonna leave Ukraine hanging.
And they're a superpower in and of themselves that they don't get credit for technologically, medically. Like,
well, there's a reason really Russia touched them. Russia's scared of them.
They're the sleeping giant, really. And again, most people don't give them credit, but they're so per capita. Like just as a country, the amount of people they have, the amount of technology and stuff that comes out of there and goes through there, like you just never hear their name pop up in anything.
Well, a lot of people think that Modi's a horrible person. No, he's just like Trump. He's a India first.
Yeah. Sorry, we shouldn't worry about the rest. Guess what? If we listened to him, we would have everything still being functioning here. We wouldn't be pumping billions into.
And that's another thing.
Killing people and invading other countries. We're paying for the invasion.
Republicans that don't want the mentality of Trump for their running process or whatever, don't want to go down the MAGA road, don't want to go down the America First road, fine. Go down the India First road. Use somebody else as your reason. Use somebody else as your example, because it's the exact same thing that Trump did here. I mean, there's an scapegoat for the Democrats. Think they'll do it? Absolutely not.
Hey, for us with brains, it's actually really easy, I'd say, to figure all of it out and done. Like, but you got to actually be able to.
Somebody needs to step on Germany's throat and tell them, look, you need to grow a spine because a little bit of gas increase is going to be a lot cheaper than what's going to happen if we don't stop that.
Yeah, if we don't stop, well, you'll lose all.
You might be speaking Russian next year.
Remember, they wanted Russia after World War II. Like Germany.
That's the other part that makes me uncomfortable with Germany. They're willing. They go back to that probably in a heartbeat.
They don't remember any of it. Russia wanted them so bad after World War II. They didn't get it, but they can go get it now.
We just need another Ronald Reagan.
Just need someone with a brain. Really, I mean, just brain function would be a good step up. Brain function for everyone that voted for him, step up. Like people that have cognitive abilities.
The only reason I said him is he was the only one to go, hey, USSR, fix this. And I'm standing in your home turf too saying this.
Yep, right on. Hey, watch this. But yeah, like we just need to get people with like spines back. Like, and as you see, most people in the country don't have a spine. They don't have a brain.
I think you'd see Joe Biden's numbers do a complete 180 if he turned around and went against what his advisor said. Just one time, go against your advisors. You did that, I guarantee your numbers would immediately reverse. Not saying they would go up 100 points, not saying that.
That's physically impossible. But it would get better. It's just, again, there's still people like Drew who, I don't remember what it was. I guess it was Russia and Ukraine. I'm going to put these, doing exactly what a president should do. Doing nothing.
Well,
like what this is going.
You say that
this could very possibly start World War III, and you say he's doing everything right. Like you people are still that you blame all of them went off on us saying that we were all just the cult of Trump and we couldn't do anything wrong. I heard more complaints from Trump supporters about Trump all the time for how he did things. Like then I've heard one person that's a Biden person say anything bad about Joe and the job he's doing. None of them can actually say anything bad. Well, it's like what. I insulted Trump all the time. Why the hell did you? Why go there? Not? And like it was just. I mean, some of the stuff he did, all of us were sitting there going,
"It's not even insulting.
Why, Donald? Why? Yeah, well, why, Donald? Why? Like, but like you're still saying between Russia and Ukraine, China, North Korea, the border, inflation, gas prices, overdose, the jobs market, which I still don't get how they say is the best economy ever when we're still 6 million people less in the workforce now than we were in the beginning
My
of the
light bulb just
pandemic.
went off.
Yeah, like how do you like? And you guys are all like, "Well, he's doing a great job. He's still my president. He's doing a perfect job." Like he's done everything has been wrong. I'm not saying this as a conservative or Republican and anything. This is all very, very bad, and the price of everything pretty much keeps summing up everything we're saying. Violent crimes going up, all these things, and yet they're also what he's doing a great job. He's perfect. Like, no, you need to like grow a spine, grow a brain. You know, get some cognitive ability back in your head.
Well, I don't know if you heard about the
I heard of the Lord.
latest border crisis now. As of last night, 3 gangs in Mexico teamed up.
Huh.
3 higher power ones. And one of them was the CJNG. They're the main one, and they had others come involved. Now they've merged. They now have about half of the border area as a high-risk terroristical threat label. Like they've already changed the threat level for that area. Like they're already highlighting it and everything in a matter of a 25-hour period. I think Joe Biden needs to back off from Ukraine for 45 seconds and go, we have to finish the wall that I don't want built, that the money can't be taken back for because it's already allocated and accounted for. So it has to be spent on the border wall no matter what, because Senate already took care of that.
And a lot of it's all
has to be done. It has to be spent on the border wall material.
And a lot of the materials are already just sitting there, not being touched, to include equipment
Well, they
and
did
everything, just waiting to go up. And a lot of
even
places,
though they didn't have the authorization yet, they did finally authorize Texas to take that material, even though they were already taking it and they didn't give a shit.
Even the Democrats in Texas were going like, what? No, really, Joe, like what? This is bad, homie. And again, I had an argument again, same guy. I don't even like, but what, they caught 3 guys on the terror watch list coming across the border. Oh, well, you know, like what? Only 3. Yeah, they only caught 3. We got people from Iran, Saudi, all kinds of stuff. Why the hell are they anywhere near like Mexico to come across the border? Because they know they can. You're catching this many, other millions are getting away. There's all kinds of bad things.
Status, and we're not general mindsets. But I can tell you right now, I really truly feel like if Joe Biden step back, and takes everybody he just sent over there, brings them back home, and sends 5,000 Marine infantrymen with tow missiles to every single base that we have for NATO on the European eastern border, bring everybody else back home, and take all the army people that he just sent over there and direct them right to the southern border, secure our southern border, build the wall, let the Marines handle Russia, because it can be done if they do it without doing this to the next Marines. If they don't do that, it can be ended fairly quick.
Treat them how they treat us. Treat them how they treat us. The ROE, what? Don't handcuff us and then get mad because nothing's going right. Everything was going pretty smooth until they got involved, and they just made it physically impossible to do anything really. And
I'm saying the border, just pull them out, put Marines in, get rid of all the stupid Obama-styled ROEs.
Just let us go.
We're living in the Biden era now, not Obama era. Anyways,
let them go. Like, just let us go. Let us do what we were meant to do.
But there's no reason they couldn't do that, because right now, Mexico could attack us, these cartels, and really do some damage, because we have no ability to fight down there like we need to be able to.
Nope. And everyone was, again, it was the same guy.
I mean, I take that back. Texas is just going to start killing everybody. I mean, I really am at the point where I feel like we're going to, at some point soon, on the news, just start seeing Texas resident shoots this many illegal immigrants. Texas resident shoots this many illegal immigrants. It's going to take that before Biden will do anything.
And for all the people, again, this is going longer than you want, but like because I got called so many things. It's like we're a country, like we're a country of immigrants. Like look at Palestine. Look at all the people that came in here and got dumped on. Why are we just letting all these people come across? Why did the number of fentanyl seized at the border? That's just seized over double between Trump last year and Biden's first year. Like what that means a
What?
lot, and it's already almost up. It's already like in the first 2 weeks of the year, almost caught up to Trump's last year. Just fentanyl seized.
They're all about climate control and environmental cleanliness, right? Well, let's go that route. We have an environmental national emergency at our southern border. We have a medical national emergency at our southern border. We have a crime national emergency and a terrorist national emergency at our southern border. You can't have that. That's the end of the end of a sovereign nation if you let that happen.
Yeah. Like we're not doing it because we're racist. We're doing it because criminals and drugs and terrorists and all kinds of stuff are getting caught all the time, around the clock, by the dozens, trying to come across our southern border and just getting sent to wherever the hell they want to go, because that's what they did under Obama, and no one cares. And all these people are saying we're just racist. Like what? You put up a wall and put like when there's, I get it, when there's wetlands and levees and stuff, bump up security right there. Like build something so they can be right there. And it won't ruin the levee, it won't ruin the wetlands, and just build a station there and put resources in that area and then keep the damn wall. Why? It's really hard to get into a country when a wall is 100 feet down in the ground because you can't tunnel into the son bitch.
And at that point, they'd only have one option, and that's come through where? An area that's either one, mountainous, two, super wet, including animals that the average human really probably won't beat. And then, how many people can swim that good? How many people die daily trying to swim alone? Yeah. Just the swimming part of it coming across that border. Don't even add everything else into it. And then you're going to add, like, if you went between, I know I told you towns a couple weeks ago, but in Texas border, if you go between Del Rio, no, what's the one that starts with McAllen? Between McAllen and then where the border meets at New Mexico, if you go between them two spots, that's the most harsh terrain, physical terrain that they would have to deal with. Okay, well, if you can't put a wall there, there's this other solution. Put the walls where they'll physically fit. Leave your geographical mountainous areas and hilly areas that you can't really do anything with without really destroying the natural environment. Put people up for that and cameras. Everything else gets a wall. Look at Hungary.
Lots of places have them.
You try to come into Hungary, this is what you're going to get. You're going to touch the fence. It's going to set off an alarm. The nearest guy is going to come to you. There's going to be a group of people with assault rifles. They're going to pick your ass up. They're going to arrest you. They're going to take all your information down. They're going to process you, and they're going to send you right back through a door, going right out in the what was the town? What was the state, the country right north of there? Anyways, they send you right back Serbia, not country, but they send you right out back into Serbia. Yeah. So it's like they know they cannot get into Hungary, and if they do, their only trip into Hungary is going to be long enough to get thrown back out by the protection forces over there.
And that's what all the countries really do.
With a way less number of ability, they can do it better than we can. That's that. Secondly, that's no different right now than what happens anywhere. Like those guys,
what Mexico does to us.
Ukraine's a great example. They have way less people, way less military equipment, and they're going to take on a nuclear superpower willingly. Those people are devastating the Russian army. And I will give you an example of why I say that. The first day, I'm pretty confident the number was 36 tanks they took out. 36 tanks is 1/3 of 1% of their entire tank population. If they did that for 1 month, which is what I don't think they could sustain for 1 month, because in 1 month, the Hungarians could take out a minimum of 1/12 of their tank population alone in 1 month. From a country that hasn't had a tenth of what Russia has.
Nope.
So the ability to fight is on their side. So there's no reason why we can't send shit there. But my thing of it is we got all these things going on. We got countries that we've allowed to get lost, and they're all under Biden. Like Afghanistan, soon to be Ukraine if shit doesn't change. And I'm sure Mexico's fixing to become a serious problem. Yep. Iran's become a huge problem for us. They've already stolen tanks of ours from Iraq. Did you know that? And now they're disabling American equipment in combat to take it back and use that for maintenance purposes on the other equipment.
Yeah. Like they got all of them.
How does nobody see the problem behind it?
All of them got billions of dollars, right? I mean, like all the bad actors, like Russia was in there after we left. China was in there and was like, and Drew was like, no, it wasn't Drew. It was Ren, just retired from the Marine Corps. Yeah, one of Dave's, he worked with Dave, but it was one of those like, oh yeah, I'd like to see the video of them flying those helicopters. Like, what? Like, well, how the hell else did they get out of there? They didn't drive the thing down. They didn't drive it down the street. What they flew those things that they took from us that we left behind right out the country into the hands of the people that are just going to, reverse engineer it and steal all of our greatest technologies because we did this like a bunch of retarded people. No offense.
And speaking of that,
retards.
One, the whole helicopter thing, people don't think they can fly them. Let's just go back a couple of years. Let's go back to 2001, 9/11. Those Taliban terrorists who are from the mountains over there that don't know shit, according to everybody here, learn how to fly some of the most sophisticated planes in the world and put them through our most important areas in the world.
Yep.
Don't think they can't figure out how to fly a Russian fucking helicopter from the 80s. Or an American helicopter that's our most generic helicopter we use. I think they're called those, what are they? I want to say they're M35 or M something like that. M33.
I think it's a 35. I have the picture.
Well, anyways, those little helicopters are the most generic helicopter in the world. The Taliban forced the maintenance personnel from the Afghan army to come back. They didn't have a choice. They had to come back and fix that crap for the Taliban or they were going to kill them all.
Yep.
So then you had that complex factor in. We are in a world of problems right now. And unless our government
grows a spine, there's
no more checks and balances and it's a problem.
They're not going to have to unless half the country wakes up and I don't know, it doesn't take much to realize they're not going to be able to fly them. Simple. They're not going to be able to fly them. How the hell did they get out of there then? It's not like they pushed it down the damn street.
Not just that. Look at all the people. The Middle East problem right now with the Taliban, I can tell you who to blame for that. You can blame two people, Obama and Bergdahl.
Oh, and I don't even want to get into that because
Obama and Bergdahl.
Yep.
Those guys wouldn't be able to fly helicopters right now if that would have never happened.
Like we had
let those guys out to trade for him.
Yeah, funny how they all were going back to be peaceful people and they were all right there with the Taliban leading the
They would have been better off letting the Taliban leaders out than letting the guys they let out. Because those guys they let out were the helicopter, the plane people, the knowledge guys.
And again, there's people like Drew that listen to some thing and said, well, Bergdahl's a good guy. It's all misunderstood. He wasn't he got off his post, he left his stuff and he walked away.
Tell you what.
Then people died trying to get him. And then we traded terrorists to get him back. We gave him a medal. And then it turned out he really did say, see you later, bye. And people died for it. And you're listening to a podcast of someone doing something saying,
is he still alive?
It was all a misunderstanding. It was all misunderstanding. What it was this no, dude. What guess what? There's actually reports and everything. The 2,000 page, the 2,000 page army report that just came out that Joe was like, no, that's not the way I saw it. Well, this is 2,000 pages from the army. Their whole 2,000 pages, but they say it's on you. It's on you, guy. But you gotta wake everyone up. I always say at the end of all these things, we have to wake everyone up because it's just they keep.
You have to be a sponge. Your brain
blind.
Has to be a sponge. Just remember that.
Actually, what did that Don Fry guy say? Well, knowledge is power. It's the greatest power you can ever have. You can't enslave an educated mind. There you go. I don't remember who was that, Abraham Lincoln or Martin Luther King.
Like I said before, my 5-year-old kid upstairs could probably do a better job. I'm rephrase that. I'm confident the 5-year-old kid upstairs could do a better job than Joe Biden in this situation. He could be a better strategic planner for what's going on right now than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
and he's
And
5 years old.
I heard someone make a reference that was in the administration last night. That said, like, it's a chess game. Like, it's except the problem is all the bad guys
You
in the
don't
world are
play
playing
chess with nuclear warfare.
I'm saying the guys that it's a chess game, yeah, but the guys that's like running the country allegedly and pulling all the strings, like he's playing, like he's so like he hasn't realized that like he's not even playing checkers. Like he can't figure out how to open the box to play checkers.
To all of those people, I'm going to say something right now, and I hope this gets to at least one of them. This book right here, Alicia Ocasio, whatever the hell her name is,
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
There it is. Her, Tlaib, Olan, all them idiots, Cory Bush,
really an idiot,
Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, all
Cory
you guys,
Booker.
you need to read this book. You need to read this.
Like, what was that book?
Learn
that
about
Orwell,
nuclear warfare and what it could do.
that Orwell wrote. What was that book that they banned with 1982 or whatever it was?
What's that?
Orwell's book that they all, that pretty much summed up exactly everything that happened during, the election campaign and everything that the world.
Oh, he's been saying the same thing I've been saying. And me and him are on two way different worlds.
Way. But there's some good books out there. Like there's this thing called history. Like actually learn from it. Read it. I mean, the same exact thing. Yeah.
History, not
old
American stuff.
Old American history books where they still told you things because we weren't trying to pussify everybody. Like they will open your eyes to all kinds of things, or hell, just look back to everything the world did when Biden was our vice president under Obama. Well, we're doing all the same stuff again. And there's what Russia went after Crimea. They don't like, here's our red line, don't cross with Syria. And then he was still gassing his people. Like what? They just make red lines. You don't hold anyone accountable. There's no accountability anywhere. And the world falls into complete and utter chaos until a crazy guy with orange skin and another life force of hair, I still don't understand it, literally was getting these people to not do anything. Like he got all the bad actors to not do anything stupid.
I'll be honest. A simple statement to make to people who really don't understand what's going on is you say, the first thing you ask them is, do you know anything about Benghazi? And if they say yes, go just like this and say, the people involved for planning and after actions in Benghazi are the same people running the show now. The only person that's probably not involved is Obama, and he might even be involved.
Oh, come on. Like the second Joe won, he bought a like $3 million like townhouse in DC so he could be there to consult his old friend. Like you can consult over Zoom. Why the hell did you buy a big old townhouse with that many millions of dollars in the city to be there for him to like, I'm sorry, what if you think that's real? Like, you actually do need to wake the hell up because you can talk to a guy.
They have to change. But you keep Benghazi and American citizens and watch what happens. Because you've already done it 3 times now, Joe. 3 times.
And I loved his first statement.
Afghanistan and now Ukraine.
His first statement. Well, I can't. Our State Department. Well, we can't help you actually get out of Ukraine. Like Russia's not doing anything yet, and you can't help them, even though you're
telling me if you went there with troop carriers and a few Humvees, you think the way it's going right now, it's clear Russia would let us come in there, get our people, and leave. That's clear because they're letting them leave right now on their own.
Yeah.
The only reason why the people that are going through the guy I talked about earlier is because these are the people who live in cities over there where everybody can't have a car because the city's so small for as many people as it. Yeah, there's what they say, like 30 million or something like that in that one town alone. It's ridiculous. That one town alone, Russia is not going to be able to beat the amount of citizens in that town. Let's get that out in the open. Even if 2/3 of them left, Russia still will not be able to beat 10,000 Ukrainians. They just don't have enough force unless they use nuclear warfare.
They've been in wars of attrition. I really don't see why they're trying to get into another one. It never works. Like when you got old grandmas, like in their like very old, picking up guns.
Well, when I seen that 60-year-old lady bleeding from on top of her eye, still willing to sign up and fight, I'm sorry, but the average American citizen here is nothing compared to that lady.
Yep.
Because that lady, not only is she already been hurt and she only had a firearm, she's willing after that to still take a firearm for her country, to fight for her country, even though she knows she's probably going to die. Yeah. That she's more of an American than Joe Biden is.
Really got to
You
think.
and I both, we've seen Iraqi locals that would be a better American than half of our politicians.
Yep. The politicians aren't for themselves. They don't care about any of us. They don't. It's about making themselves richer. Nancy Pelosi came into the Senate with what, like a $3 million like total like value, like, and now she's up to like 3 figures of millions.
It was no, the very first person that valued her, I think it was 2.7, and it went to 3 point something, and then in a matter of a couple of years, she all of a sudden was in double-digit millions. It's like, whoa, wait a minute here. How? No.
Making inside trade, and they're keeping all of us down, and it's just again,
there's no way somebody can
make as much as she is.
A couple of years, 10 and be valued 10 times more than they were just 2 or 3 years before that, and only make 175 grand a year.
It's not going to happen. Like, they're all in for their own interest, no matter what they say, and that goes on both sides. Like the McConnells of the world, like what's her name up in Susan Collins up in Maine, like.
That's the funniest thing about that particular topic, because that topic is not getting talked about because the bills that are already in process of being introduced are bipartisan support to end personal trading for politicians and their families. Yeah. Because there's no way to look at it. It's insider. Dude, that's worse than what Martha Stewart did, and she went to prison.
Yeah, like,
she went to prison.
Like Nancy Pelosi's husband, well, he's the one that handles all the when he dumped all that stock out of one thing and then bought so much stock in electric vehicles when the government was getting ready to buy a bajillion of them. Yeah.
And how do you know to do that without her?
That's not insider trading. Why? Because you didn't mention it to anyone, but suddenly she knew to do it. If you don't find that to be suspicious, please bang your head on a wall and then wake up a little bit. Don't bang your head too hard. Frontal lobe damage is dangerous to the world, but wake up. I don't know. I
think more people that are veterans need to get more involved with the Legion and hold the Legion accountable. So the Legion is better for us veterans. Because if it's better for us veterans, it's better for the community. And if the Legion's better for the community is going to become more educated over time, and they'll be better off in the long run. That's my plug for that shit.
And that seems like a good, segue to end it. Maybe again, it's so easy if like these people would just like, it comes down to just educate yourself, because again, you can't enslave an educated mind because we know better. Good shout out to the Matrix, because I never noticed the red pill. What, you'll wake up and suddenly, whoa. The blue pill, what, you're just going to stay a slave. Never put 2 and 2 together. Granted, I didn't watch the Matrix in a very long time, so when I turned on, I was like, just listening to him, I was like, my man, Morpheus. Get it, Lawrence. But just wake up. Pay attention to stuff. Get involved in all the local stuff. Pay attention to the Senate and the Congress's website, because you can read all bills that they put on there. You can turn on C-SPAN or something. Listen to whole entire briefings through. Don't listen to talking points. And Fox News is normally really good about letting us hear the whole entire hearing and not just giving us talking points to make people sound like idiots like they do on the mainstream, which is why Fox's news is the great, it has better ratings than any network on TV.
I'll tell you, for people like us, my best suggestion at this point in time with our current government, make sure your brain stays a sponge. Make sure you stay involved with good humans, not bad humans. And third, and last but not least, because it's most important, we can't live if we don't have food. Try to grow your own food as best you can, and it will help you in the long run when the stupid shit like this happens.
Yep. When the price is quadruple, you'll be going, cool, man. I'm good. Cool hand Luke.
It's definitely going to come to a point where it's going to be cheaper to run this greenhouse and indoor greenhouse than it will be to buy anything from the store.
We're already pretty much there, but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
I thank Walter for his time. Sorry, we went over. I was sitting there looking at you, but you were.
Yeah.
We were on a roll. We're on a roll, but yeah. So thanks to Walter again. Don't forget, share, follow along on all the platforms. The videos for this one are everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Cloud Hub, Right Only. I still put stuff on Parler for some reason. Getter, I put it everywhere I can. Audio, I'm on everything. Anchor Breaker, Stitcher, Apple and Google
All of it.
Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, Audible. Like, for the love of
Go to
God.
Google, type in podcast. He's probably on it.
Yeah, type in Jesse Rucinski show. Hell, type up Jesse Rucinski. There'll be a few things that pop up. If you want to listen to the racing show we just did, lots of good stuff on there too, which just takes people actually using their brains and giving just a small ounce of a damn for someone besides themselves. We could actually turn around like small towns and the whole country really easy if people just gave a damn. And yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it. But again, follow along, share, comment, and tell us what you think about today. You can leave voice messages to the episodes if you go on Anchor. Can't do it anywhere else, but Apple and Google Podcasts, all of them. Check it out, and I'll be back on Tuesday. So enjoy your weekends. Be good to each other. God knows how bad this is going to get in the next couple of days, but I see much more blood and really bad like briefings from our government because they're all incompetent and they're more worried about white rage than I don't know, national security. And
Old Millie.
Worthless bag of bones. But enjoy your weekend. Be good to each other. And until Tuesday, peace.